So Khamzat Chimaev and Belal Muhammad has been circulating the last couple of days. I think primarily because of Belal, and then I think Khamzat kind of jumped in on it too, saying, "All right, let's go." So if Belal Muhammad were to face Khamzat Chimaev, who takes that fight? Belal seems pretty confident that he would win. Obviously a fighter's not going to say they're going to lose, but I don't know where that confidence is coming from. You just won back-to-back fights against one guy that's almost 40, and I think one guy that's over 40. So, and he didn't finish either of them. So I don't know where this over enthusiastic confidence is coming from on Bilal's end, but the answer for me is Hamza, and I don't think it's an overly competitive fight.
Yeah, the answer for me is going to be the exact same, and I definitely don't think it's going to be competitive. I think it would be extremely one-sided. Because think about the matchup, right? They're both going to be ground guys, and it comes down to, okay, well, whose ground game is superior? Clearly. And we also know that Chimaev can fight standing, which Belal hasn't been able to show that he can do. So even if they didn't go to the ground, I don't see Belal being able to escape that terrifying smile, which, look at this.
Yeah.
Scary, man. Like...
Bilal's last victory by KO was in September of 2016. So over 5 years ago. And Bilal's last finish of any kind was over 2 years ago in September. This guy does not finish people.
Yeah.
We've talked about it in prior videos. He's got 20 wins, 3 losses. Nice record. But he's got 5 finishes. I mean, 25% finish rate is nothing to be happy about. That's again where I don't understand, like him calling out Usman when he beats Wonder Boy, and then him saying, I could take Colby, I'd love to fight him, and then him saying, let's run it back with Leon. That one makes sense. But then the Hamza thing, it's like, dude, you're not like, no one's jumping up and down to watch you. Like I've said it before, I don't like the guy. Because the whole it's because of all this, all this talking, I hear him talking, I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, you're not finishing anyone. Yeah, you're winning. You're on an impressive streak right now. You haven't lost in your last 7 fights. 6 of those are wins. One of them was the no contest against Leon. And that wasn't Bilal's fault. But again, like, you're not doing on this streak. You have 1 finish, and that was the one I was saying in September 2019.
Now, to his credit, though, because I agree 100%. I even said it during our preview that I think that he needs to win decisively. He does need to finish, but I think he definitely needed a decisive win. And I thought that's what he had against Thompson. It would have been ideal had he managed to secure that Kimura or any of the other submission attempts that he had made. But, that's not the same as actually getting that finish. That's not the same as securing that. Because he even ragdolled Damian Maia quite a bit. But it just doesn't have that same impact.
Yeah, but again, Damian Maia is like what, 42? That's why, to me, like, and he hadn't been looking great entering that fight against Belal as well.
Yeah.
If it was like he's been looking pretty good, yeah, he's 42, but like if it was like a Glover situation and he beat him, cool. But when it wasn't, like, the guy is already on his way out, and then you still couldn't finish him. And I think one judge scored it and gave a round to Damian, and maybe that was incorrectly, but like, again, like, you didn't do it all that convincingly, which is why I get annoyed. It's like, you're talking that much smack when your last 2 victories, again, the one against Wonderboy, I agree, he was very dominant in that one. But you go against Damian Maia, like, he didn't do anything then, and that wasn't that long ago. That was 6 months ago. So I mean, good improvement from fight over fight against Wonderboy, but I did not see enough of an improvement between those 2 fights for me to comfortably be like, yeah, I can understand where he's coming from, with what he's saying about Hamza. Not at all. I can't make that leap.
Yeah, neither can I. I mean, and Hamza would be more logical than the Usman call out. You know what I mean? That one was just astronomically incorrect. Yeah, you're off by orders of magnitude, man. I mean, and on that note, like, look at the jump in rankings. We were talking about, he'll move up, but I don't think either of us thought he would move up to this degree.
I think I explicitly said I don't think he'll be cracking the top 5.
Well,
and he did.
It's interesting. Because I mean, where does he go from here? Like, he's not going to fight somebody lower, so he would have to fight, I would say, either Edwards Burns or Leon or Covington, because I think Luke. Well, he might even.
He's been knocked out by Luke already. But this to Belal's credit, it was a long time ago. When was this? This was
2016. He lost via.
So both
KO
guys
TKO.
have improved since they last fought. But I don't think that's I honestly the match to make at this point, if you have him at he's at number 5. So the match I think that makes most sense is you have Leon fight again. Because on Leon's end, it doesn't seem like the UFC is really all that eager to give him Usman. So I think Belal at that point, looking at the top 5, in order of what makes most sense to me, I would say Leon, and then kind of a split between Colby and Gilbert. But I think actually Colby doesn't make sense to me just because I feel like there's more marketable matchups you can do with Colby, right? It makes more sense to do Colby with Masvidal. It makes more sense to do Colby with Dustin Poirier now that Poirier's trying to make that move up to 170. Those make more sense to me than doing Colby and Belal. Because at this point, the UFC can make money with Colby. Colby's put himself in that position where he talks enough smack where the people that like him are obviously going to watch him, and the people that don't like him are going to want to watch him just to lose. But Belal is I think just pulls that down. We did a video about we did a video about Dustin and Edwards, and we were mentioning not Dustin and Edwards, Dustin and Nate Diaz, and we were mentioning Conor, and Conor's like that one guy you can throw against and throw Conor and anyone, and that fight's going to do fine selling wise. But I don't think Colby's at that stage where, all right, let's give him Belal, and then you can't. That's not a pay-per-view.
Yeah,
that's maybe a fight night main event.
Give me a second, man. Sorry, keep going.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna have to stick with Leon making the most sense, because even if we look below that, what I was just saying, if we look below Belal right now, we have Masvidal at 6. Who do we have at 7?
Wonder Boy.
Stephen Thompson, we obviously just beat, and then you have Neil Magny at 8. He's not gonna be fighting Neil Magny. I don't think he's gonna want to do that.
My only point about Belal and Covington being a potential matchup is I would like to see Covington's wrestling and Belal's grappling sort of come into play. If it's on the feet, I think Covington takes it 100%. There's no question about it. Look how he does. Look how he did against Usman both fights. It's actually incredible. So I would like to see it for the wrestling aspect. I think Belal needs to be challenged a little bit. Not to say that he's fought in the form of Leon Edwards. Leon's not a chump, but I don't think it's a challenge in the same way that fighting a Burns or a Covington or even a Luke
losing that fight though. Belal was, but I'm not in the party of dude, Leon was for sure going to win that fight. No, he won the first round pretty decisively for sure. But I'm not gonna. Have we not seen enough times someone wins round 1 and then Limosh and Angela Hill most recently, a very dominant round 1, and then arguably loses the next 2 rounds after. Yeah. So I don't think we had seen enough to be able to be like, yeah, Leon was going to run away with that fight. So yeah, I agree with you on that in terms of the challenge. But I don't know, man. It's again, we talked about which fight were we speculating? What was this fight, wasn't it? It was the question we posed when we were doing the preview for Belal and look at the face. When we did the preview for Belal and Wonderboy, our question was regardless of who wins, does this kind of make things a little clearer in the welterweight division, given how murky that top is? You don't know who fights what, and people are squatting, people aren't wanting to fight, or it's for whatever reason seems hard to get matchup scheduled. This didn't do any favors. I only see one matchup here in the top 5. No, it didn't.
If anything, I'm even more confused now. Yeah. I feel like this just threw it completely for a loop.
Especially again, if Dustin comes up. Dustin comes up to 170, now what? Yeah. So I don't know, man. So we kind of went on a different path, but looking at this, and we didn't even focus on Khamzat a little at all. So let's.
What is there to focus on? He's terrifying. The guy I think he's gonna punch a hole all the way through.
Yeah. Again, so Leon, we said he's got 20. Not Leon, Jesus. Belal, he's got 20 wins. 5 of them are by a finish. Conversely, not too much professional fighting for Khamzat, but of the 10 wins, they're all finishes,
Yeah.
and it's almost evenly split between sub and KOs. Look at that. I mean, he split them between the UFC, the 4 fights, two KO, 2 submission. Not the steepest of competition. Not that Li Jiangliang is pretty solid, and he made him look like an absolute fool.
And so, I mean, I know this is logically this makes no sense, but I've pointed this out before too, where a lot of times you see fighters come out of a different promotion, or even out of the Contender Series, or out of the Ultimate Fighter, and you'll see KO, sub prior to them going into the UFC. Then once they get into the UFC, they either start losing or they start going to decision. You don't see the subs or the KOs that often.
Sometimes that does happen.
But this guy is like, no, my friend, not I kill you, you know. And let's look at this, man. He's out of Brave.
He hasn't been to round 3.
It's nuts.
Look at that.
It's nuts.
He's only been to the second round 3 times.
This should tell you a lot, because he's doing this to people that are in arguably the most competitive promotion out there, and he's still doing this to people. So, you know, this record is not padded by any stretch of the imagination, man. This is what it is. This is the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, again, what we've said of the 4 fights, the probably the toughest guy he's faced was Li Jingliang, and he again made it. Like, I thought Li had a chance to be the guy that pulls off an upset against Khamzat, and I couldn't have been further from the truth on that.
So fast, prediction. Man. That was
he
so
absolutely
fast.
Humiliated him. This guy picks up grown men and walks around the octagon and then puts him where he wants them and then goes to town on them. And then he's carrying Lee while talking to Dana White. So this is the issue I have with Belal, is like, yeah, the record is nice. You know, this little streak you're on is impressive and all that, but you're not doing, at least in proportion to what Khamzat has done, you're not even in the same hemisphere, dude. You're not in the same solar system. I'll put it like that. Like, come on. Like, that's why I don't get, where is all this gusto coming from? Like, you're not, like, I don't even think he's all that marketable, to be honest. I don't know why they gave him the desk job at ESPN, to be frank, too. I mean, I don't care for his takes either. So I don't know what the hell is the whole thing with him. I don't think he's a bad fighter. I'm not saying that. I don't care for him, but I don't think he's a bad fighter. But you're also, these call-outs you've made are overly ambitious, to say the least. The Leon one is the only one that I think was appropriate, and that's what makes most sense. And I think that's what should happen, frankly.
Agreed.
So, I mean, we'll see. So, again, in the event, honestly, if this matchup happens, I'm trying to think line-wise what might be the case. I'd have to think it's at least minus 300 for Chimaev.
I can see that. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. If not higher.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least
opening, I would think like around minus 300, and then by the time come close, yeah, it might be well north of that. I just don't see it. I mean, if it opened minus 200, think about it. The fact that it was minus 200 against Wonderboy made no sense. So if that you gave minus 200, how would it not be set at minus 300 against Khamzat? So I mean, we'll see. I mean, honestly, I don't care to see this matchup. If it happens, I'll watch it, because Khamzat could fight a tree and I'll watch it. I don't care. But I think the right move for Belal is just to run that back with Leon. Let's get an actual answer on that. Find out who's going to win that, and then after that, you can maybe say, all right, the winner of this fight's Usman. Maybe you could, depending how that fight goes, you could maybe make a case at that point that now we have an idea of who's fighting for the title next. I think that's a little more reasonable. But I mean, I guess we'll have to see. But again, no favors were done for the welterweight division by the way this fight, by outcome of Belal and Wonderboy. Like we said, we're both just as confused as before. So I have no clarity.